What's up guys, it's Eric from the gym. Today we are starting our intermediate series. We're gonna be doing legs. I have Kaylin helping me. We're gonna go over single leg bridge, kettlebell deadlift, box step up with a single leg balance, and lunges. Let's get it. With this exercise, we're gonna progress from the 2-foot leg bridge to a single leg bridge. What you're gonna do is you're gonna bring one leg down so your foot is flat. You're gonna be pushing from your heels. With the other leg, you're gonna bring it up and you want it to be in alignment with this other leg. You're gonna hold it here. You don't want it coming up and down as you do the exercise. And you're just gonna do the same thing. You're gonna drive from your heel, really engage the glute, stabilize your spine with your core muscles, and you're just gonna continue to go up and down. Now, because this is a single leg exercise, you're gonna wanna make sure that you do the same amount on each leg, and as always, you go toward the weaker leg. So whatever the weaker leg can do, that's the number that you're gonna do. For this exercise, you want to make sure that as you approach the weight, you're directly above it. Your feet are shoulder width apart, ready to just get right into the exercise. It's the same movements as a squat. So when you go to pick up the weight, you want to make sure that you're using your legs and not your back. And when you pick it up, you want to drive from your heels, really contract your glutes to push your hips forward to stand you upright. Because you're holding weight, you want to make sure that you are letting it hang because it is dead weight. That's why it's called a deadlift. But you want to make sure that you're keeping your shoulders rounded back and sticking your chest out as you're coming down. So go down, good. And then come up, good. Now, notice he's stumbled a little bit. Now, if you can't do this with keeping your knees forward, you can still do it with the bench the way that we did the box squats in the other video. This would just be adding weight to make it a little bit more difficult. Now, when you're using the bench, you want to make sure that you start off in a seated position to make sure that you are in alignment. And just from here, you're going to grab the weight and you're just going to stand straight up. Good, make sure you're activating the glutes. This makes it a little bit easier, but it's more important to get the exercise right than trying to make it harder on yourself and do it incorrectly. So go back down, good. And because you have the bench, you don't have to worry about falling, so you can go backwards a little bit more, make sure that you're really going back into alignment. For this exercise, we're gonna progress from the regular box step up to a box step up with a single leg balance. What you wanna do is it's gonna be the same exact thing as the regular box step up, and instead of landing with 2 feet, you're gonna keep that other foot in the air for balance. It's gonna engage your core more. It's gonna put more pressure onto that leg, using the muscles a little bit more than you would if you were doing a 2-foot landing. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna keep it continuous. You're not gonna take your foot off. You're gonna keep going up and down with that same leg for about 12 to 15 reps on this one. And then when you're done with that, you're gonna switch the leg. Now, if you lose your balance, that's fine, because this is an exercise and you're trying new things. So if you don't have full balance for it, you can put your foot down and then try to get it back up as you catch your balance. So do one as if you lost your balance. So touch and then come right back up. So you can use it as needed to work on it until you have the proper balance to do it without needing the assistance of the other foot. Okay, there's no equipment needed for this exercise. The main thing that you want to focus on is technique. Now with this one, you want to make sure that you take a big enough step forward that you're not jamming yourself up. Some people will try to do this exercise, their foot won't be far enough apart, and they'll kind of jam themselves and it'll force them to go out of alignment. So you want to make sure you're taking big enough step so that when you come down, your knee is directly above your ankle and you have enough space so that that back leg isn't really in the way. That's really there for support. So don't evenly distribute the weight. All the weight should be on that front leg. That back leg is there just for balance. So if you feel like you're putting too much pressure onto that back leg in your hip flexor, that means you're doing it wrong, and you want to try to make sure that you're shifting the weight into that front leg. Now, because you are coming forward, you want to make sure that you're breaking up that momentum and it doesn't carry your knee forward. You're actually thinking about going backwards and putting yourself into alignment so that you come straight down, and then putting the weight into that posterior chain and then pushing from your hip and using your glutes to push your hip straight to stand you back up. You're gonna alternate legs on this one and do about Again, 12 to 15 reps because it is single leg. So you're gonna do 12 to 15 each leg. So that's about 24 to 30 if you're counting single legs as a rep, whatever's more comfortable for you. Now, if the regular lunge is too difficult and you can't stop that momentum from bringing your knee forward, you can do what's called a reverse lunge. So you're actually going backwards the whole time and then stepping forward. It's a little easier to do, and it helps you get into alignment where you're not worrying about momentum carrying you forward, and mentally you're going backwards, so you don't have to think about going backwards because you are going backwards and you're putting all the pressure into that posterior chain. Again, you want to make sure that the pressure is on that front leg and not the back leg, and you want to make sure that you take a big enough step so that you're not jamming yourself up and pushing yourself forward. All right, and that's it for our intermediate leg workout. On each exercise, you want to do about 3 to 4 sets of about 10 to 15 reps because these exercises should be a little more difficult. If these exercises are still too easy for you, you can just go heavier in the weight. So you can raise the weight on the kettlebell deadlift, or you can add weight to the single leg box step up, or add weight to the lunges. You would just hold some dumbbells in your hands for added resistance. But again, the most important thing is form. If you haven't done so, make sure that you like the video, subscribe so that you know when our next video is coming up. The next one is going to be intermediate core, so take a look out for that.